Hi, Mr. Alberto. How are you? Welcome.
Hi, Mahavir. Fine, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you are just on time and we are waiting for you. I think it's 4 p.m. India time. And
Yes,
we
time
have
for.
almost all the panelists, joined. So warm welcome once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have got quite overwhelming response, and with the consent of all of you, I keep the house open. We have got very overwhelming response from the participants from various parts of globe, and as I understand, there are participants who have joined from India, from Europe, from Israel, from various parts of the globe. So hello all, and warm welcome to all the expert panelists and learned participants. My name is Mahavir Lunawat, founder of Mid-Market Investment Banking and Financial Services Group Pantomath. Thanks for joining in large numbers. Today we are going to discuss ceramic industry. In fact, over last decade or so, Indian ceramic industry has come a long way in terms of both meeting domestic needs as well as occupying a leading position in the global materials landscape. Interestingly, in 2016, India became the second largest manufacturer in the world, beating Brazil. The growing urbanization in India is likely to remain a major growth driver for the ceramic tiles market in this region. India is now a major exporter to the world. One of the interesting aspects of ceramic industry globally is that the industry has prospered through clustered approach. There are many reasons for development of ceramic clusters: availability of materials, consumption market, proximity to labor, availability of technical know-how, logistic support, entrepreneurial talent, so on and so forth. And be it Fosan cluster in China or Italian cluster or Morbi or Himatnagar in India, I think this cluster approach is very unique. And Indian clusters are very ideally located with proximity to highways, ports, and there is availability in abundance of raw material, of various inputs, and of course the materials are available in Gujarat and nearby states like Rajasthan. So like this, I think there are several dimensions of the industry today which we are going to touch upon in terms of changing customer patterns, in terms of shift from organized, unorganized to organized trends, global trade and M&A patterns. And friends, to discuss all these, we have today with us an illustrious panel of torchbearers. I once again, welcome all the learned participants and expert panelists. We have with us on the panel today, Alberto. He is an MBA with honors from Harvard Business School. He is basically the founding managing partner of Mandarin Capital Partners, one of the most active European Asian private equity fund. And Mandarin has been investing very actively in building construction material space, including ceramics. We have with us Mr. Bhavesh Varmora. He's a mentor, strategic thinker, and a dedicated leader. Has been a trailblazer at Varmora Group since last 2 decades, and under his stewardship, Varmora has emerged as one of the leading brands globally. We have Mr. Munindra Kumar. He's leading Chamber of Commerce and Industries of India as Director General, and Mr. Kumar advises on several policymaking bodies and trade bodies. We have Mr. Yuval, is the global CEO and visionary at Caesarstone Limited, one of the largest quartz countertops manufacturers in the world, listed at NASDAQ. Recently, Caesarstone has forayed into India by acquiring majority stake in one of the Gujarat-based Lioli Ceramica, and we welcome Caesarstone to India. We have Paula. She is the editor of International B2B Ceramic World Review and the Ceramic World Web. She brings with her a lot of hands-on data points and content, and I'm sure she'll share a lot of insights with us. Detailed profile of all the expert panelists have been circulated to all the registered participants. So I take the liberty of not going through in detail, although none of the panelists need an introduction. For interest of time, I will rather keep it short. And once again, thank you so very much, Paula and all the gentlemen who have assembled here. And I'm sure it will be a very enriching, unique discussion, which will be relevant for not only India, but for all the participants who have joined from across. I will start with Yuval. Caesarstone has entered India, as I said, by acquiring majority stake in Lioli. And notably, Caesarstone has completed the Lioli acquisition transaction during COVID-19 lockdown situation. At the outset, I must thank you all and Caesarstone for coming to India, and we do wish you great success in your future endeavors. With that positive note, I seek your opening remarks, Mr. Yuval, to set the context for this panel. And I think I'm going to seek your views on a very, very contextual, very, very relevant, specific situation. The current pandemic has brought unprecedented challenges. What was your first reaction as global corporation to the pandemic? How you handled the situation at your organization, and what, according to you, is the new normal for ceramic industry going forward?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mahavir, and it's a really pleasure to be here, and even more, a great pleasure to join the ceramic industry in India, which is the latest move of Caesarstone, which we are very proud of. So thank you much for having me here in this panel and in a wider aspect in the country as well. Caesarstone is a global leading company in the countertop industry. So not just in all type of slabs, but it's more our surfaces. It's more in the countertop industry, and we have a global footprint in some prime locations like the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Israel, and lastly with in India too. That fact was helping us very much to manage the headwinds coming from the Corona or COVID-19 business impact, with the diversity of the revenues that we have around the world. Nevertheless, a new business environment was imposing on all of us, and it was very much needed to change work practices, business focus, and activities to accommodate the change. The first thing we did, like many other companies, knowing not too much in the first few months on how the pandemic will be evolving, cash management was coming before, I guess, or maybe right after health and safety, and making sure that employees and their families and suppliers and customers are in a good shape in terms of health. Right after that, it was all about cash management. But once we figured out that the company is in a stable position and we can continue to generate cash and to manage our company healthily, I would say, I think right after that, two things were coming to be our challenge. First is to manage from a distance, manage the different business units, and in that sense, as you rightly mentioned, completing the journey with the Lioli partnership and working with our future partners on completing the deal. So working from a distance is definitely a challenge, which is still around us, and we will continue to have it and to change our company practices in line with that. But in addition to that, I think like other companies in many parts of the world, I think working with the communities, how we can help better the communities around our plants and our businesses was coming to be, if like more important to all of us, because we saw what is happening in our communities. And I think we moved forward with some voluntarily actions in India, in Israel, in the UK. Kind of in many areas we kind of, as a leading company, we figured that there is also our obligation to see what we can do to help more to the people around us, which is beyond just doing business. That will be, I guess, maybe the first thoughts around managing the company in a different business environment.
Sure, sure. That's wonderful. And of course, I'll circle back to you. Moving on, I will request Bhavesh Bhai's attention coming to Indian industry. Bhavesh Bhai, you have been putting immense efforts in overall development, and you have established brand Varmora in global trade. So let me have your inputs on Indian industry. अपनी इंडियन इंडस्ट्री बहुत फ्रेगमेंटेड है और एट द सेम टाइम काफ़ी फॉर्मलाइजेशन अभी इंडियन इंडस्ट्री का हो रहा है विच इज़ अ वेरी गुड न्यूज़. सो इंडिया इज गोइंग थ्रू द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल फेज फ्रॉम अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड टू ऑर्गेनाइज्ड. और रिपोर्ट्स में हमने पढ़ा है कि 80 to 100 न्यू यूनिट्स सेरामिक्स का अभी ओपन हुआ है मोरबी में ड्यूरिंग पेंडेमिक. So during pandemic, 80 to 100 new manufacturing units have come up in the Morbi alone. And almost all units are running on optimum scale. Sub units optimum scale pe chal rahe hain. So exports have doubled up. So it will be good to have your perspective on ceramic industry in terms of kitni demand hai, kitne naye units khul rahe hain, kya type ki products hai. And I will request you if you can use Hindi and English probably so that it will be relevant for all the participants. And wherever required, I will translate in English for the panelists to understand.
Thank you, Mahavir. As you said, 80 to 100 new units are coming up in Morbi. It is basically growth is coming up from international market as well as Indian market also. So as anti-China movement is there everywhere in the world, in every products. So the first of all, growth is coming from exports and domestically as well. So domestically, if you say Mr. Kumar has mentioned that in infrastructure, government is spending so much huge money. In domestic, you can say housing for all is driving growth for Indian tile industry as well as ceramic industry also. And your another question was how is shaping up how many new units are coming. So it all units will come, I think, in July, August to December. So all 100 units will come into production in next 6 months.
Sure. तो काफी अभी GST, रेरा, ई-वे बिल, गैसिफिकेशन, there are a lot of changes in regulatory and in industry norms, and it is causing transformation, major transformation of the industry. So do you think is it beneficial for the industry and consumer? So what is your view on such transformational changes in industry?
See, first of all, these all transformational changes have been impacted industry in last 3-4 years. But now it is shaping very well because once demonetization has come, our all cash flows have been impacted. Our demand were impacted. RERA is impacted much more because smaller builders and developers doesn't have the capacity to do all the things in place. So it was impacted for at least 2 or 3 years, but now it is shaping well, and it will create a positive impact for the industry because smaller builders and you can say unorganized builders and developers is now not in business. So as you said, unorganized to organized shift has been happened in that industry. Now coming up to ceramic industries, definitely in Morbi also some organized players are they are doing good. Very small new brands are coming up. At least I think you can say more in Morbi another 7 brands are coming up very well. So it is happening, but there is a space, and definitely it will help in.
Sure, Bhavesh Bhai. I'm sure all these changes are leading industry to the right way, and the way entire globe is looking at Indian market with very positive hopes. I'm sure the industry is geared up to cater to the global market. So coming quickly to Mr. Kumar, You have been tracking the economy very closely, working for several developmental initiatives. There is an increasing push for infrastructural growth, as we were briefly chatting before, we opened up the panel. So there are mega schemes, as Bhavesh Bhai has mentioned, smart city, housing for all. So we will be very delighted to have your, quick overview on the current state of the economy and growth momentum, particularly in the context of ceramic industries.
Thank you very much, Mahavir. So I'll take you very briefly to the, some of the, the data, some of the kind of development which we have in India. So India is the, third largest construction markets globally. It's the third largest, and I think by 2022 we will surpass that slot as well. Just to give you some more idea is that India is just they're looking for an investment over 800 crores for a sustainable infrastructure growth. This is the kind of investment India is looking towards the infrastructures. And if you see, as the Honorable Prime Minister is talking about 5 trillion economy by 2024, I foresee, infrastructures, ceramic industries has a huge role. It's a huge role to play to reaching that Prime Minister's the vision of 5 trillion economy. Now, I'll just give you some of these figures. Just for the logistics sector, the logistics sector is growing at 10.5% annually, and there's an investment which is going to be more than 300 billion just for an infrastructure. So just imagine how robust our infrastructure system is when we have an investment of over 300 crores just on the certain logistic sectors. As far as the policies are concerned, there are a few very important things which is going to contribute for the ceramic industry. In the union budgets, the honorable ministers talk about, the prime minister talk about housing for all, smart cities, and there is $1.89 billion which is unmarked only for Amrut and smart cities. So the kind of business volume we are talking about is a humongous. It's a being one of the the largest democracy, the kind of funds and kind of numbers we're talking about. It's really humongous. It's really humongous. And the best part is that there's 100% FDI route which is open for this segment. There's no barrier. There's no it's a complete and open sector where people can come and contribute to 100% FDI. Just to bring to your notice as well, the Parliament they also passed a bill which is called the National Bank for Financing Infrastructures and Development, and this is the basically which is going to work dedicatedly for infrastructure sectors in India. Niti Aayog, the Quality Councils of India, they're very concerned that how the infrastructures can match with the global quality kind of thing, and that's the reason we have a certain framework where the Niti Aayog and the Quality Council of India, they have started rating the infrastructures work. Each infrastructure's work is being rated by the Niti Aayog and Quality Councils to make it at par with the global standard. The another thing which is very important is that these are a budget of $7.6 billion just for housing and urban development. And just to bring to this perspective, 1 of 6 people living globally on this planet Earth, 1 is Indian. This is the number we're talking about. This is the business volume we're talking about in terms of infrastructures and the housing. India will need 4,300 houses every single day until 2022 if we want to give house for all. We're talking about 43,000 houses every single day till 2022 if you want to give a house for all. And this is and with the government support, with the government initiative, with the government policy, with the access and benefits, with the kind of liberal policy, I think we are moving towards that direction. So 43,000 houses every single day till 2022. Can imagine the kind of ceramic support is needed for this growth every single day. So this is something which is very like interesting to for us to know. And this is the only sector which controls 15% on our entire GDP. The policies like real estate, EST, REITs, these are the only, policies framework which is going to add some value additions to the entire infrastructure sector. So it's just a huge opportunities I can say. Now, coming to the from the ceramic perspective, I think we are the second largest ceramic producers. Tableware categories, which is not very much organized. So people like you and the Morbi associations, they are working tirelessly to make it more professionals in approach. One of the also very important thing is that the major export market, the Middle East, Europe, and 20% of the total ceramics are exported only to the Saudi Arabia. So these are the something which I see that there is a huge development which can happen in a few months and years to come. Like areas like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, development of 100 smart cities, housing for all. So these are the areas where huge things can be done together. Just imagine 100 smart cities, and each smart city is being governed by like the CEOs, and each CEOs function independently with a huge budget allocations to each smart cities. So infrastructure is something which is very some things to work upon.
Sure. Very interesting, data points and very, buoyant state of, infra and ceramic play. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. And I think I was talking to Alberto, last week, while we were talking on the panel discussion, and I posed a question that why not India so far in Mandarin investment list?
Right.
And so I'm sure the kind of numbers Mr. Kumar has thrown up, Alberto, you will be now inclined, and your team will, I'm sure, look more closely, some of the Indian companies. So well, Alberto, you have been a very significant investor in one of the leading ceramic players globally, and based on your exposure of participating in various businesses, what, according to you, are a couple of forward-looking trends which you think will need the next wave of growth in ceramics? And also, if you can touch upon what you would like to see in a ceramic company before you take a decision to invest.
So how many questions? 2 questions?
2 questions, yeah. I'll repeat maybe. What is a major forward-looking trends which you observe while participating in global businesses in ceramic industry? And what do you like to see in a ceramic company before you invest?
Well, the trends, the industry is bifurcating. And there's, on the one hand, you have the big slabs, 320 by 160, 270 by 120, growing very fast. And at the other end, you have the small one for walling, developing very fast with a high profit margin. 6 by 20, 6.5 by 25. And these are to both ends of the market that need to be covered. Another pillar of future growth is development of the ceramic with new properties, antibacterial, antiviral, anti-smog. We have a new line, which is basically antibacterial and anti-COVID certified, and it's going very, very, very fast. Going back to the second question, what we look at when we make an acquisition, the first.
Yeah, please carry on. These are just background slides for the
Okay.
benefit of audience, but you can carry on. Yeah, please.
The first one is the quality of the management. We rarely buy companies that have a weak management. because we like to retain the management. We're management poor, so we don't have our own management team. So we need to acquire the company and a management team.
Sure. Sure.
And without definitely market position. Whenever we buy, we try to buy whenever we buy a company, we need to buy skills and market position that we don't have. So it's very important to fill holes in our future strategy. Then we also look at what is the quality of the strategy of the company we're buying. We place a lot of importance in the quality of the plant because we look at integrating the plants. We rarely close a plant, but we integrate the plant. We have now 5 different plants, and they're all work in an integrated fashion. Each of them is specialized on a specific format. And then we also look at the innovation track record and perspective.
Sure. Sure. I think, yeah, I think you have given.
The last factor, which is fairly important, is we need to get the seller involved. We like to have the seller convert part of the sales receipt into equity for the new business. So we have a perfect alignment
Sure.
in strategy.
Sure. I think you have put it the entire, investment metrics in a very simple terms. And some of the key trends you have, outlined indeed, matches with our ground research in India as well, that, there is a demand for large slabs and, some of the products. So Yuval, quick reaction to Alberto in terms of, you can probably correlate in terms of some of the trends at, your organization or in your experience, and also since you have made an acquisition recently, so some of the factors what probably you would have also gone through. So a quick reaction, any agreement, disagreement, or any further addition?
No, I'm more in agreement with Alberto than not. I do believe that having a quite same interest with the seller is a key for future success. That's exactly the way we entered the market in India with a partnership with 2 great families, the previous owners of the Lioli Ceramica company, a partnership that we intend to cherish and to continue to grow. And I believe that over the years, once after we complete the integration phase, which is always more challenging than not, we will start the run of running a nice joint venture in India with the aim to further export products from India to the rest of the world, utilizing the Caesarstone go-to-market platform or footprint in the countries I mentioned earlier, will be allowing the joint venture to flourish, if you like, by utilizing this footprint, which is all in prime locations around the world, and servicing the people of the world with products coming from India for the countertops or or the bench tops in their homes. That's the intention. This is the essence of the joint venture, and I do believe that whenever all the trends that we see around are just supporting this strategy and will allow us to develop it even further.
Sure. So before I circle back to, Mr. Varmora, Yuval, I have an additional question to you. And, this is very important considering, the fuel consumption constitute a major portion of, the manufacturing process, both in terms of cost and also in terms of criticality. So carbon footprint has always been a challenge to ceramic industry due to use of, traditional fossil fuels. So what, according to you, are the new energy resources and technologies in which companies must invest to be environmentally responsible? And what are the practices you observe in global parlance in this respect?
It's an interesting question, Mahavir, as this is a clear global dilemma that many global corporates around the world are dealing with. And I think the answer is maybe not with naming one specific energy source in the conversation. It's more about the trends that we are seeing and we will be part of. And I do believe that, and there's a bit of also consolidation around the world when major corporates are taking greater footprints and taking some steps to have a more location, which I think it's actually a positive trend, because I do believe that the big corporates or the global corporates can invest more behind the alternative energy sources, invest more behind not just environment but also health and safety, the environment impact on the communities, and come with better solutions, whether they are technical solutions using different type of machineries or different type of energies. And this is exactly where Caesarstone is going to be putting more efforts and resources to in the coming years. Not just in the ceramic industry, I would say it in the quartz industry as well, which is our main business at the moment, as also drive some high energy consumption as well. And I do believe that that Caesarstone will be putting more and more efforts to, if you like, bring less damage to the world, or maybe contributing better to the communities and the people in the world.
Sure, fully appreciate. So Bhavesh bhai, आपका reaction in terms of since we are discussing fuel and energy, so अभी जो मोरबी में gasification हुआ है, and all the traditional energy sources have now been converted to natural gas. So आपके हिसाब से, as far as Indian industry is concerned, where do we stand? और क्या अपने को reforms करना है, और you think अभी अपने right track में चल रहा है, both in terms of sustainability and also in terms of the overall fuel costs?
See, as we are importing country, fuel importing country, definitely there is a space of new energy resources, but it need to be designed thing. So right now we were using gasifier, coal-based gasifier before 4-5 years back. Now we are fully gasified. So as you mentioned that carbon footprint is a very big issue in ceramic industry, but we have reduced that coal-based gasifier. We have reduced the carbon footprint with the gasification, and there is a space. And right now we are doing good with the LNG imports. You can say import LNG. We are doing with the piped gas.
Sure.
So definitely there is a technical changes needed, but it will take time. I think it will not happen overnight.
Sure. और काफी सारे consumer patterns are changing, and people are becoming increasingly aware of brand quality. कि आज कोई घर में भी अगर सेरामिक यूज करता है, टाइल्स यूज करते हैं, तो वो पूछते हैं कि कौन सी टाइल है, कौन मैन्युफैक्चरर है, कौन सी ब्रांड है. सो शायद आज से 5-10 साल पहले उतना ब्रांड अवेयरनेस नहीं था. सो वैरायटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स इंट्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं. डिमांड जीवीटी प्रोडक्ट्स का डिमांड आई थिंक काफी बढ़ रहा है. लार्ज स्लैब, जैसे Alberto said that large slabs in demand is also increasing as a trend. So आपके हिसाब से Indian industry is Indian industry ready to handle changing consumer preferences? और हमारी जो export में भी एक leadership लिया है. So do you think that our quality and our the product variety is a major push for demand in global market?
See, as far as technology is concerned, we are at par with the Europeans and at par with the anywhere in the world. So your question is about very big slabs and technology. Definitely, we are exporting to around 140 countries. Means India is exporting to 140 countries. And now we have 11 plants of slabs right now, and 4 new plants are coming up with the latest technology trends in the Morbi right now. So we have technology, we have demand from the international market, and now we are growing like in double digits growth in international markets. So definitely there is a space, but we are growing very fast. You can say we are growing like 17-18% per annum. So it is tremendous. So quality-wise and technology-wise, we are at par with the Europeans.
I think this is perhaps Bhavesh bhai is the one of those very few industries where India has beaten even the larger markets in terms of cost and in terms of the variety. So compliments to you. Since you
Definitely we are exporting to China is the major you can say achievement for the Indian ceramic industry. Before 6-7 years, we were fighting for the anti-dumping duties from China. Now we are exporting to China. I think so many people are exporting to China. Caesarstone, Varmora, let's say all slab manufacturers are exporting to China.
Sure.
So this is the greatest achievement for the ceramic industry.
Definitely. Compliments, Bhavesh bhai. So we have, Paula, who has done a lot of research and study on exports. And since we are discussing international trade and exports, so Paula, it will be great if you can share some of the data points as you observe, because you are, I think, the global consolidator in terms of data. Where does India stand? What are those, key trade corridors? And of course, as a co-moderator, pose questions to any of the expert panelists.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lunawat, for this invitation to this event. And today, yes, together with our special guests, we will try to focus better the role of the growing role of Indian ceramic tile industry in the international trade. The task is difficult since the figures I could provide you are so many, but I try to limit to the key figures that could help us understand better what I call the Indian case, because looking from outside your country, what we see, what we have been seeing in the latest 5-6 years is really astonishing. So the growth, the rise of Indian ceramic tile exports worldwide is really dramatic, is astonishing. I can give you just the first figures I give you is the fact that last year, 2020, the Indian ceramic tile industry was able to conquer finally the second place as the world second biggest exporters soon after China. India was third up to 2019 behind Spain. But last year, the Indian ceramic tile industry was able to register an increase by 24%, reaching 445 million square meters exported in 173 countries. And this result meant that you won the second position as second largest exporters in the world. But it was not only the results of last year, of course. We see, if we look at the historical trends of Indian exports, we can say that Indian exports started really to grow fast around 6 years ago. So if we look back, what happened in 2014, for example, Indian exported just 100 million square meters, and the results every year after year were double-digit, of course, growth, up to last year 445 millions. As I said, even the number of countries where Indian ceramic companies are present now increased. There were 150 2 years ago, and now you are present in 173 countries. And as Mr. Varmora said, compliments, because to enter the Chinese market is really a great success, of course. So what happened last year? While India increased by 24% to that result, if we have a look at the largest exporters, world exporters in the world, we see that, for example, China dropped. China dropped by 20% last year to 622 million, while Spain, which was second and now is third, Spain was able to grow by just 1.7%, but it grew to 422 million square meters. At the same time, Italy, which is the fourth largest exporters in volume, but I remind always it's the first one in value, as the leadership, the world leadership is not under discussion, of course, in terms of value and average selling price. Italy lost just 1.8% to 318 million square meters. So another very interesting aspect of the results, the performance of Indian ceramic tile industry is the comparison. For example, if we look at the 30 top destinations of the 4 largest exporters in the world, that is China, India, Spain, and Italy, we see that India was able to increase their sales, their export sales in 23 countries out of 30, while China was able to increase only in 4, Spain in 16, and Italy in 12. So every single aspect we are looking at tells us that the performance of India outside its borders is dramatically rising and fast rising. Last year, of course, it was the best performers as far as exports is concerned, and that is really very, very, very important. What is also astonishing for us looking at India from outside is, for example, the fact that India showed an incredible resilience in its exports to the GCC countries last year. So we all know that the anti-dumping duties imposed in the GCC countries in November 19 and confirmed last year in June. Well, we all thought that would have menaced and challenged the Indian exports last year. It was not true. India was able to grow in the GCC countries and above all in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, India last year grew increased its sales to 90 million square meters. It means 18 million more in countries where most of the companies are subject to, I think, if I'm not wrong, 41-point-something% duty. On the same market, China decreased. So all these aspects are really telling us that the results of India have to be analyzed, and I really hope it will be able to do it with our guests today. I think that Mr. Varmora and also Mr. Dagim will be able to explain us the reasons and the factors behind these strong results. If you want, we can start with some questions to your guests.
Since we are discussing on exports and you have come up with very fantastic news that India has emerged as the second largest, exporter globally, let's continue this discussion, and you can pose a couple of questions on the international trade.
Okay, so the first questions could be to Mr. Varmora, and what we would like to know, to understand from you is, according to you, which are the main factors behind this strong growth of the Indian ceramic tile industry abroad on the exports market? I mean, of course, It helped to have the anti-dumping duties from other countries. I have not mentioned your incredible results in the US. India grew by 193% in the US last year. And in the first quarter, the latest figures received by the US showed that in the first quarter of this year, India was able to grow its exports to the USA by 88% in volume and 99% in value. Of course, other countries also grew, like Spain, Mexico, Turkey, and Brazil. But the volume of increase of the percentage increase of India was much larger. So according to you, what are the main factors behind these strong results on the international markets and the resilience shown in countries like Saudi Arabia and the progress shown in the US, for example?
So Paula, first of all, as you mentioned, that there is anti-China movement in all across sectors. So one of the most favorable part for the growth is the anti-China movement. And other part is India was there in all the markets. So India were present in USA, India were present in GCC, India were present in Latin, India were present in forest countries. So we were present in that countries, and technology play a big role, like big slabs, new design, new developments. You can say all, as Mr. Alberto mentioned, that big slabs. We are talking about all kind of new trends we have produced and exports to the various countries. So major, you can say, if you see USA, USA has imposed anti-dumping duty on China. So as Indian figures, 6,000 crores per annum import from China. So the second most preference is India, obviously. Obviously, there is option Turkey, Brazil, you can say China, sorry, Italy and Spain. But the most, after China, most favorable country is India. So everyone is now coming to India, and as Mr. Kumar has mentioned that this is a consumer market. So we are very fast in implementing. As Mr. Lunawat mentioned that 80 to 100 new plants are coming up in the pandemic, where every whole world is fighting for the survival. Now India is growing like 100 new plants it's around 14 to 15% of existing production are coming up. New production has come in. So definitely there is a growth, and as I mentioned that it's three part. One is presence in the market, technology, and anti-China movement.
I understand. Thank you. If I can, I would like to ask Mr. Yuval Dagim his opinion on another aspect. We see that consumer behavior is changing, and there are new products growing attractive, like we all said before, the large sizes, the large slabs. And don't forget, as Mr. Forchielli said, that today we are not only talking about size, but also quality of the products, which means also functionalization of surfaces, so antibacterial, antivirus, anti-slip, and anti-smog, etc. In your opinion, Mr. Dagim, what according to you are the key global trends in ceramic industry, and what are the top 2-3 markets that are in a position to cater the new age demand of these new products?
Well, thank you, Paula. First, I really agree with the other people in the call saying that or thinking that India has a great opportunity to position itself as a ceramic leading player, leading the manufacturing region, maybe with no competition with any other country. I'm saying that because I do believe that the window of time that India has is one to cherish. The other potential big countries that can produce critical masses like China are still not there in terms of all the facilities and technologies that are required, and they will be there in the future. But India has started the journey quite early, and I think in India, if the journey will continue with bringing more and more cutting-edge technologies and newly plants and servicing the world with the right quality and if you like, and together with, of course, the right prices with to all markets, I think India can be the global service provider for ceramic in the world. And with this in mind, actually, this is the main reason we entered India, and we look for an opportunity to come and join the forces, if you like, in India as a global player. Together with the global brands, and Caesarstone is a global brand, I do believe that adding porcelain or ceramic to the global brands offerings, in this case it's in countertop, but it can be in other applications as well, we will be able to serve the people in the world better, because the consumers' behaviors and preferences are changing, and it's clear, exactly as you said. And all of a sudden, we can find ceramic tiles, but ceramic material, if you like, the ceramic material being offered in more and more applications. And with that, if the global brands will be taking that forward and advising their clients and customers with those with this offering coming in porcelain, in ceramic, under their global brands, that will be actually speeding up the growth process or the growth in India as well. And with companies like ourselves, I believe that exporting more and more products from India is really around the corner.
I understand you partially answered also my second questions, which was related to your opinion about the ideal product diversification strategy. So you are a leading brand in the quartz countertops, investing now in ceramics for applications in the furnishing industry, so kitchen countertops, etc. So from global trade perspective, this is the strategy you will follow.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think we touched it earlier. We do believe that it starts with the brand, and if the brand, and it can be any global brand name, don't need to mention name anymore, but if the brand is there to give service to the consumers of the world, and if this is the aspiration of the brand, then if you can add more and more offerings under the brand name in the same industry, I'm not talking about now going to different industry, and if our industry is the countertop industry, and the brand can touch more and more consumers and go and be servicing more and more markets, then why it cannot be in more materials? And in that sense, it can be in natural stone, it can be in ceramic, and it can be in quartz, and they can live together, because sometimes it's different consumers approaching different needs, if you like, and if the brand that they are looking for to get the service from can give them this service under a few different materials, then the formula is working, and we will be there to serve those customers and consumers.
Thank you, Mr. Dagim. Mr. Lunawat, if I have time, I would like to have a couple of further questions on exports to our guest, but please tell me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can have one question and then we'll move on. Okay,
just the last one regarding Europe. So we talked about GCC countries and US, or let's say NAFTA area, but there's always Europe under our focus. Indian exports to Europe increased last year. Europe means European Union and other extra European Union countries, and increased to 50 million square meters last year by 60%. Major countries, major destinations countries are Poland, Italy, Albania, and a couple of others. Do you think that you are facing some difficulties to enter more rapidly overall the European market? What are the challenges and the difficulties you are meeting on the European market? The question is, of course, for Mr. Varmora, and if he wants to, Mr. Dagim too.
So, Paula, as I mentioned, that technology and innovation, that these are the two most part of the ceramic industry. So now design development and finishes. I think after Italy and Spain, after Italy, you can say not Spain, after Italy, we are the second largest because we have once new finishes come up, new finishes or new sizes come up with any kind of new designs coming up with any companies, definitely it is coming from India. So main thing is exporting to Europe is in GVT, and GVT is GVT in sizes. We can say larger slabs to 60-60 or maybe 60-30. Our biggest size is with Caesarstone is I think 3 meters by 1.5 meters. So we have all kind of different sizes, finishes, and price points are available. If you want cheaper one, India is having, and if you want the best one, is India is having. So in we are not like China that we have only cheaper one, the best one, or only cheaper one we are having. So we are having all kind of products available in portfolio, and we are most trusted suppliers in Europe. You can say Varmora, you can say Caesarstone, or maybe much more names are there. But 6-7 brands are doing very well in European market. So this is the main points for the European market growth.
Thank you. Mr. Dagim, would you like to add something?
Just maybe to share my to share the same view. Exactly, I do believe that India should be playing in all consumer segments, from premium to medium and below. As a premium brand, Caesarstone is more than happy and confident in moving into India and to bring products under our premium brand name being produced in India. I think it's maybe we're not the first one, but definitely one of the pioneers brands who are doing so. And I think that's a great, should be bringing a great future for India in this aspect.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Yeah, I think quite a good perspective, and thanks for leading this entire international trade section, Paula. We carry with us a lot of positive indicators and very encouraging way forward. I will now circle back to Alberto in terms of because I think a lot of analysts and investors are also watching this, and we are getting a lot of requests for even the full recording of this program. So I'm sure this will go a long way. So you have been making investments in ceramics for a good amount of time. And of course, I will ask my colleagues to, if possible, to put up the slide on returns Indian business have generated in ceramics over last 3 years. And as you can see, Indian ceramic, as per the quick data available, have given the most handsome return over, let's say, last 2 to 3 years of period of time. So in your experience, what kind of return on investments you have made in ceramic businesses, and happy to have your views around that in terms of what probably one can do better in terms of scanning multiple businesses in ceramics?
We think that based on the prices in the market right now, we think that we have tripled our investment.
Okay.
That means an internal rate of return, I need to figure out, but around 30% a year
Very nice.
since the beginning.
Oh, since beginning, that's quite handsome. That's
Yeah.
quite encouraging. Yeah,
Yeah, it is approximate.
sure,
Definitely the ratio at which we will exit the business to the ratio at which we enter the business is around 3.
sure, sure. Good to know that.
Pardon me?
Yeah, good to know that, you have generated very handsome, returns, and you have been able to exit as well. So,
No, we have not exited yet.
okay, okay. So this is based on the current valuations. So what are the key takeaways, Alberto, from your, most successful acquisition so far? I would say, what's your advice to, entrepreneurs of emerging ceramic business, from based on your experience of investing in multiple businesses through Italcer?
If I were an Indian entrepreneur, I would look into investing in Europe and the USA,
Okay,
just to create a position for control of the market in
sure,
case there are anti-dumping duties applied, because the risk is always there. The risk is there also for Indian businesses.
sure,
For example, we think that our missing piece is a large slab plant in the United States that we need to build as fast as possible.
sure,
That's supposed missing us.
sure.
Now, as I said before, going back, I think the only, well, we probably made many mistakes, but the one mistake that occurs to my mind as the the most significant is not having involved one of the seller in our strategy. We left alone, so the sellers built a different plan on his own after 4 years lockup. That was a mistake we won't repeat that mistake.
Can you elaborate on that?
Generally, when we buy a company, we ask the seller to reinvest in the business with us.
Sure.
In one case, we didn't do it, and then later the seller, after a few years of lockup, built an alternative plant, started competing with us. That was not nice. Obviously, we fixed it, but that was a mistake. So from now on, whenever we buy someone, we ask the seller, whoever sells to us, to reinvest in the business and come along with us.
Sure, sure. Yuval is smiling, so
It's correct. If you find the mutual interest in developing the business together with your partner, that's always the best formula to win. And I'm kind of listening to Alberto and fully agree with his experience. Something to learn from.
sure, sure. So Yuval, since you have chipped in, so globally, we are witnessing a lot of consolidation in this industry through M&A. Of course, you yourself has recently done one. So, I mean, in terms of your views, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this trend? Do you think more and more businesses getting consolidated in favor of large organizations, and whether it's good for the consumer?
Yeah, I do believe that the trend will continue. I believe that more and more global corporates are looking for expanding their offerings into different areas and applications and materials. And on that, as part of the search, those companies are looking for other private businesses and beyond to see if they can bring them on their portfolio. The same as we did. Generally speaking, I think it's good for the industry. I think that if those big corporates that can invest more, that can come with new technology, faster innovation, better services, a footprint or expand the footprint and delight more and more customers and consumers, it's a good thing. I believe that should be continue. As for competition, I don't see a great risk for competition. We're competing with the big players. Everyone is kind of trying to increase its market share to make sure that the return on investment is there. And I believe that consumers and customers will be continuing to be benefiting from that. So all in all, I believe the trend will continue, and it's a positive trend, to my view.
Sure. So Alberto, your name is figuring out at multiple places. Any specific views on M&A? Happy to have your views.
But the most interesting is the one we did, the last one we did in Spain, where we bought Equipe. In this case, the transaction was all paper-based. We exchanged shares. So Equipe, which is backed by a private equity fund in Spain called Munindra, is the co-owner with us of the whole group.
Sure.
And that allowed us to integrate in Spain. That was very important to be in Spain. Integrate by walling. We only had flooring, so we have walling now. Very profitable. And that's made the whole group much stronger. And that was a totally paper-based transaction. Highly unlikely, but very successful so far, given the result we're having. Because now we are integrating all different companies. So Equipe has flooring to sell, and the other companies have walling to sell. Plus, we are in Spain, and the Spanish are in Italy to develop a lot of synergies.
Sure.
We are in the States.
Sure. Interesting. So I think we are getting, flooded with a lot of questions. I'm not sure whether we can take up all questions, but I'll try to take up some relevant questions, and I promise all the, participants to kind of, revert on all the questions separately, even if, some questions are left out. So I think there are 3-4 questions on the competition to tile industry or ceramic industry from various other related products, and maybe Bhavesh bhai, you can take up to start with, and if Yuval has to add up, please feel free. So whether vinyl floorings or laminates is a competition to ceramic industry is a question. Sir, mute pe ho aap, unmute karna.
Sorry. Definitely vinyl and for the laminates, not for the laminates, but vinyl definitely used for the floors. Laminates is a different uses of all kind, but the ceramics is much more better products than vinyl, and so I don't think so there will be. But now the exterior is also one part where ceramic is not used so far. So now it is growing like anything. So in European, maybe they are using facade, but India and another part of the world, they are not using right now. So it is a much more bigger market is open up for the ceramic. So there will be a competition, but there are other products also where natural marble is replaced by the tiles. As I said, facade is replacing and ACP is replacing. We are replacing ACP from the tiles. So there is other products also, which is replaced by ceramics.
Sure. And recently there has been increase in the fuel prices. So there are, I think, quite a many questions around fuel prices. You think now it is at the sustainable level and it is adjusted in the price points, or if any perspective? Happy to have your views.
So last fuel price increased in January 21. After that, there is no increase in the gas price so far. Definitely fuel price has increased, so some freight portion has increased, and we have increased the price. I think all ceramic industry at that time has increased the price. So whatever increase in the price, we have increased in the price in our selling price. So there is no impacted so far. It is not impacted on balance sheet.
Sure. And I think there are a lot of people who have probably deal in freights. So you think the use of freights is increasing, or what is the growth of freights business?
Definitely, GVT is growing like in around 30%, more than 30%. So freights use will increase, and growth is there. So last year also, Indian ceramic industries has grown by around 6-7% overall. So growth is there, and use of freights will be increased. Definitely.
Sure. So there is one question, which is a bit interesting in terms of that all tile companies, intend to enter sanitary ware market. What is your view in terms of it is primarily to use the same distribution network, or only people outsource and use the distribution network, whether they are able to meet the quality? So happy to have your views on this particular aspect.
So there is no common distribution network, you can say. Distribution network is completely different in ceramics and tiles and sanitary ware, because tiles is about volume product and sanitary is a value product. But in dealer point, you can say at the retail point, definitely there is a common, you can say, brand or common network we can use, but distribution is completely different. In some of the business in tile, there is a no visible branding, as far as I understand from the, because we also entered in pathway division 3 years back. Once tiles laid, no one knows this is from Caesarstone or Varmora or any other brand. But once sanitary ware or maybe bathware is visible for the years, so people are recognized very well, and you will have brand recall value with the sanitary ware is better than tiles, as per my view. That's why they are coming up with tiles. People are coming up with sanitary ware. And sanitary ware people are coming in tiles is a different agenda, because, as I said, volume. So in tiles, definitely volumes are there, big volumes, big numbers. You can increase your top lines very fast. There is a limitations in sanitary ware production, because it is a mainly manual process in India. It's not like Europe or other part of the country. So there is a limitation in production also in sanitary ware.
Sure. Mr. Kumar, one question, for you in terms of you have spoken a lot about, a huge infrastructural push in terms of smart cities, in terms of, number of housing, on the anvil. So you think Indian industry is geared up from capitalization perspective, from the point of view of resources, or you think, something needs to be further done in terms of, enabling the Indian industry to respond to the huge demand level, which is fueled by both micro and macro?
So, there are few points definitely like to add on here from the ceramic perspective. If you see during the pandemic, there are lots of industries has been given PLI, production linked incentive. I think the ceramic industries needs to make certain representations to the government for PLI, like schemes. One of the area which I also foresee that Alberto was mentioning about antibacterial kind of tiles. There's a huge potential in the hospital segment, in the hospital segment. So these are the area where things can be explored, and the policy framework can be made with the help of like central government.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think questions are very many, but I think we have taken more than 90 minutes or so. So before I conclude, I would like to have a quick rapid fire in terms of taking quick view from each of the panelists. So I'll start with probably the same order as I started, starting with Yuval. So Yuval, what is the one thing that the world at large can adopt from India, and what India can learn out of global trade?
Right. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to answer through the understanding how the people in India are working. And excuse me that for my very short experience in working in India, but I get the work ethics and the way that executing with speed in India is very, very unique. But I think more holistically, I think the world now should be getting some of the Indian respect to heritage and to traditions, because the world is moving so fast, and people are, to my understanding, people are too confused, doing too many things together, running through the pandemic. I think it's time now to know more where we are coming from, to know where we are heading to. And I think that lesson can be learned from the people of India very much. That's what I would try to learn, to be honest.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bhavesh bhai, one final takeaway for ceramic entrepreneurs towards sustainability and growth.
So I'll answer it in Hindi right now.
Please, that will be great.
So जैसे आपने बोला sustainability, definitely India is very fast, as you all said. हम लोग एजुकेशन बहुत फास्ट करते हैं, लेकिन सस्टेनेबिलिटी पर फोकस हमारा कम होता है. सो सस्टेनेबिलिटी हमसे सीखना है यूएस एंड यूरोपियन से, कि वो लोग ऑलवेज थिंक फॉर द सस्टेनेबिलिटी. हम लोग बहुत जल्दी एक नंबर्स पे पहुंच जाते हैं, लेकिन सस्टेन करने के लिए या यहाँ से ग्रोथ करने के लिए हमको बहुत कुछ सीखना पड़ेगा इन लोगों से. सो we need to learn how sustainable business and the generations business कैसे बनाते हैं, वो उन लोगों से सीखना है. Definitely we need to learn from them.
Very nice. Mr. Kumar, what is your expectation from corporations like Caesarstone and fund houses like Mandarin?
I think you are the right person, and there's a huge opportunity in this segment. And the investors like Alberto, there are certain policy framework which them enables to have a more like comfort zone. I think we can negotiate with the central government. We can speak to different state governments and enable them for the investment, for the entire investment ecosystem. I understand that the investors, they have their own reservations from the geopolitical perspective, but we have to keep in mind that we have 28 states, and each state has their own plus and minus points. So if you talk about Morbi, if you talk about certain part of Rajasthan, I was just talking to one of the secretary, day before yesterday, and we are saying that all these silicon-based things can be monetized in a much bigger way.
Sure.
There's the policy framework from the forest perspective that can also be taken care of. Another area where I can also understand is that Bhavesh bhai is the right person to comment on these things. Why we should not start rating our own product, like the products are being rated in USA and European countries. We can have our own councils. The quality councils of India can come into the picture. The central state government come into the picture, and we can start rating the products so that we can push the products to the international markets.
Sure, I think it's a very sensible suggestion. Alberto, quickly, briefly, one sentence, if possible, what would attract you to invest in Indian businesses? You are on mute, I think, Alberto.
Nothing. We are ready.
You're
Nothing
ready?
more. Yes. I know India well. I believe I worked in India in different incarnations. I've come to India about 20 times, and I have a strong appreciation for Indian entrepreneur, their ingenuity, their entrepreneurship. So
Mahavir,
I think
you said only one word, one sentence, so he has answered in one sentence.
One other one word that he's ready. Yeah. Very nice. Good to know that. And last word from the lady, Paula.
I'm always the only lady. This is a male word. Well, I really have to thank all the guests because I already knew that this event would provide interesting insights, and it was confirmed. It was confirmed. Maybe next time when we will meet again, we could focus our attention also on other topics, such as, for example, the capability of the Indian industry to increase their price due to the increase of costs, because of course costs are increasing also in India. And as Mr. Forchielli said, yes, of course, pay attention, because we shall not forget in any time that the anti-dumping duty is always a risk that has to be avoided. So we will see in the future the further evolution of the country in this sense. Yes.
Sure, I'm sure we will need to have follow-on discussion, as in a very short period of a week's time, we have got more than 200 registrations, and the way people are requesting for the recording of this sessions, and probably we will take it forward our discussion. So I must thank all the panelists, Yuval, Paula, Mr. Kumar, Alberto, Bhavesh bhai, for being with us at very short period of time. It can't be better than this, and I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for all of us. Good news is that India has arrived as far as ceramic industry contribution is concerned, both in terms of productions and exports, and I think that that brings a lot of responsibilities too at the same time. So thank you so much, all of you. Thanks all the participants for joining from across the globe and making it a very, very interactive. Apologies for not taking all the questions now, but we will attempt to respond to all the questions we have noted down, and we will surely respond to all the questions. We will probably circle back to some of the panelists if any specific input is required, and then definitely we'll prepare a dossier and circulate to all. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you.
Looking forward to see you. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.